Thank you, Madam Chair Edwards and Chair Arciero for this opportunity. I am Alan Epstein. I'm a board member of Greater Boston Interfaith Organization, a strong partner of Justice for Housing. We represent 60 dues-paying mosques, synagogues, and churches, labor unions, and other nonprofits in the Greater Boston and frankly statewide. We organize and train leaders from among our members to seek justice for the public good. This summer, we gathered 1,400 of our people to push for housing justice in a number of areas, including for returning citizens. So given the amount of time left, I'm going to yield, and another panel that I sponsored will come and share more about GBIO and our concerns in concert with Justice for Housing.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank Madam Chair and committee members for allowing this testimony today. What an act to secure housing for returning citizens does is, while coordinating with the Department of Corrections, incarcerating people who seek education so that they understand their housing options before and after their release. They will receive vouchers from the state administered by the Department of Housing and Community Development that allow incarcerated people to find pathways to short-term and permanent housing. But most importantly, what this bill does, it allows the Department of Housing and Community Development to partner with the community organization that is led by a directly affected leader in the community that will develop and implement an outcome-based reentry housing program. Let me just say that Justice for Housing has already proven this. We have already proven that housing first works. Justice for Housing has housed over 210 formerly incarcerated people in the last 2 years. 45 of them are survivors of domestic violence. 61 of them are disabled. 21 LGBTQA, 11 youth, 2 vets, 4 immigrants, 136 blacks, 72 are employed, 72% are employed. 69 had an increase in their credit score. We have a 0% recidivism rate. And this year, the recidivism rate dropped from 34% to 26% in Massachusetts. And I'm not saying it is because of Justice for Housing, but I am saying it is a collaboration of directly affected leaders in this community who are doing the work to end incarceration. Last year, the state spent $733 million on incarceration, $10 million on reentry. To house 250 people, it'll cost the state under $7 million. These are the reasons why I would like you to pass this bill favorably out of committee. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Calvin Diedrich, and I am a returning citizen. I was incarcerated 36 years out of the 54 years I've been on this earth. Through Justice for Housing, I was able to find stable housing, mental health services, a livable wage job, and the real reason why I'm here today is so many guys are coming out of prison with nothing. I've been in that situation numerous times and no real resources to help me. After paying my debt to society, I was connected with Justice for Housing. They sat down with me and they was able to help me find me. There's nothing like having a place where you can call your own. You don't have to worry about where you're gonna sleep at. We really need to take a real hard look at this bill because it has helped a great deal of individuals that I've been around that's been incarcerated with me. It helped them reshape their life. And I want to thank them and the rest of the organizations that collab with them to make this possible. Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Devon McNeil. 46 years old. I was released from incarceration on April 23rd of the year 2020 after serving 20 years of my life incarcerated. I thought that I was prepared. I've done every program that the Department of Correction has to offer, some of them twice and 3 times. I came home to my longtime girlfriend of 28 years, and I have a 20-year-old daughter who I left at 2.5 months old. When I walked to the house, I walked into a home, a house, a fence, the dog, and a garage. But what we weren't prepared for was the institutionalized and those small little mental things that I picked up along the way, such as sitting for 3 or 4 hours, no TV on, in complete silence, correcting my mind, correcting my thoughts. That was weird to them. That was uncomfortable to my daughter. Then it came to the point where I was working 2 jobs at one time. But I came home in the heart of COVID, the heart of COVID. To sum it up, my relationship failed within a year and a half. I was forced to move in with my auntie, but the reality is I didn't even know her. My mother's oldest sister, who I did not know because I spent all my life in the streets, and she spent all of her life chasing drugs. I lived with her for a year and about 13 months. That fell through because my cousin, who was a felon, was coming home. He needed parole. I had to give up my spot. Leslie stepped in. She says, give me time and I can help you. Give me time. You gotta be patient though. I was calling Justice for Housing at 2, 3 in the morning because I was having a hard time just adjusting. Someone to talk to. They picked up my call every single time. What other organization that has vouchers will do that?
Jose Lorenzo with Justice for Housing, where we humanize and dehumanize. And if there's anything that we learn from the incarceration system is that it leaves a mental toll on people. And bills like this are what establish a stepping stone and a kind of like a pathway towards suitable home ownership, or should I say living arrangements. And a lot of times, these factors aren't taken into consideration, the mental toll that prison takes on individuals, people that are sent to a place called the Department of Corrections and come home and not expected to be corrected. I just want to say individuals like that, individuals like the people you heard us speak here today, have all been through something and don't even have the space when they come home to be able to deal with that. Our families are not capable or suitable to deal with our internal battles when we come home. And so now there's a mental health aspect to it when it comes to this housing. And I don't think we consider that when we talk about human beings in this space. We don't consider that there's a mental aspect to all of this. And with that, I'll just wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Rampant. I'm here on behalf of the GBIO as well as the client who you just heard. I was one of those 200 that was housed by Justice for Housing this year. I'm also a returning citizen. I was a youthful offender. I went to prison for crimes I committed before I was 18. I was a juvenile. There's over 100 youthful offenders that's been released. And we had our rally for this bill out in front of the State House in April. There was over 400 people out there, and it was over 40 lifers standing in front of the State House. And then we showed up at the GBIO event, sponsoring Leslie's bill and this bill for housing. There was over 1,400 members there, and they were strong. And I want to say to this board, and what I want to impress upon this board, is whatever comes out of this committee, we need you guys to hold the ground on it. We need the resources that are articulated in this bill, especially Bill 877, that address funding for housing for these organizations like Leslie's, and Bill 866 was created the Fair Housing and funding for the Fair Housing Office. Those are vital to those men who are out there right now. They're busting it, we're working, we're doing what we're supposed to do, we need help. And those vouchers are vital because most of our income go to housing. This is a public safety issue, and we've been getting by because we've been doing the right thing. We need more support. So it's vital that this bill get passed. I thank you for your time.
My name is Abdullah Farouk. I'm the Imam of the Mosque for the Praising of Allah.
religious leader and head of that organization. We've been in the Roxbury area for 53 years. And I'm speaking on behalf of the Greater Boston Interfaith Organization and our support for this Bill 878. Why we think it's so very, very important. Number one is that this state that we're in is the probably the second or third wealthiest state of this country. But it's not about how much money we have, it's about how much love and respect and will to serve the needs of the people. These men and women, I know them personally because I worked as a prison chaplain for 15 years with the Department of Corrections. And so I know them when they're in prison, I know them when they get out. I know the difficulties they have. Sometimes when they come home, they can't go into your house because maybe you're living in public housing, so you can't even embrace them any longer. There's no way for them to go. So this word recidivism comes into play. 44% of them return to the prison within a year or two. Why? Because they don't have, number one, ways to make money and a place to live, a place to rest their head. I have a food pantry. I can give them food. They can go to Morgan Memorial and get clothing. But getting a place to live in this city in particular, which is probably one of the most expensive cities in the country, is difficult. We have industries of intellect and science, and people are making money here. They're making money, but the way we're going to be judged is by how well we deal with the less fortunate. The people will have a say. The returning citizen will have a say in how that money is spent. So that's all I have to say. I ask all God Almighty to bless you for embracing us and listening to all that I've heard this afternoon. May your will and your decision be in favor of this bill.
My name is Tyrone Jones. I am the housing navigator for Justice for Housing. Confusion, indecision. The first thing you see on somebody's face when you know that they just come out of prison is, where am I gonna go? What's next? Okay, that question is on every mind. And I happen to know that because I've been doing outreach for the last 7 months as a returning citizen myself. And I know what it's like to want a job, and want someplace to live, and you have none of these things, and you just came home. And so what kind of price do you put on these things? These things are prices. You can't put a price on this. Justice for Housing housed me, housed a lot of people. I just housed 4 other people that just came home from prison with Justice for Housing and other resources that are out there. It's I can't even tell you how much it is. How support for 878 and 1362 is needed. We need the vouchers because no matter how you look at it, having someplace to live, having someplace to lay your head, priceless.